interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yo, it's Remember the Show. Slick with the flows, where the sparring can go. Who's gonna be on, man, you never will know. Guess you better tune in, cause we live from Chicago. Belal Muhammad, that's the king of the tweets. Jason Anik looks like John, step his hands to his feet. Every Thursday, we gon' give you a treat. It's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat. And retweet, and retweet, and retweet. And retweet, it's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat.
Live from Las Vegas, Nevada. It is episode 114. Remember the Show. We appreciate you all being with us. My name is Jason Anik, joined as always by my man, the number one, don't get it twisted, UFC welterweight contender, Belal. Remember the name, Muhammad. Great to see you, brother. You were in Chicago. I'm in Vegas. We were going to get you out here. I know a lot of moving parts this week for you, but great to see your face. How you doing, man?
My brother, what's up, baby? Yeah, I know I was supposed to come down, but you know, death in the family. So we're gonna be sitting here from home. But glad you made it. Excited. I think it's gonna be a good card. It's gonna be a fun card.
I think so too. And I saw your boy Mike Valley made it back from Australia and right back to Valley Flow striking, huh?
Oh, he was literally there that night. Like he got back in the morning and he was at the night practice. And I'm like, bro, you got no sleep. He's like, I'm gonna be awake anyway. Like I missed the gym. It's been 3 weeks, so glad to be back home. Glad to have him back home because I was starting to become the mean coach. I was like yelling at everybody, making them do and burpees, but he's back. So glad we got the W out there. So making that 3 weeks gone worth it, right? I know Charlie Radke said the stupidest thing on the mic, but he had a great performance. Got the dub.
Yeah, exactly. The W is what it is. That the mic is what it is too. But a lot of emotion, man, for these guys when they're putting everything out there. Like I understand it can be pretty frustrating sometimes getting booed like that when you're working your ass off trying to win a fight. You know?
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand. Like he literally sacrificed so much to get there, right? He went down there 3 weeks early. It's his UFC debut. He's fighting a hometown guy. It's, you know, you've been waiting for this one moment. Now you have to fight in the daytime. Then you're getting booed by everybody out there. And none of the Americans want to fight out there because of like the taxes and everything. Like you've seen McKessie post about it and like saying how they took everything out of there. And everybody's like, oh, how come none of these American fighters want to come down and fight? Because like all the taxes get taken out of your check. But he went down there, his first check, put it all on the line, flew his coaches out there with a training partner, like sacrificed it all for that one moment. And, you know, you get emotional, right? And people booed him. And I was excited for him because I was like, I knew he was going to get on the mic and say something. I thought he was going to call out fighters because he's brash and he knows how to, you know, talk. Right. He went too hard.
Yeah, Cody was saying, I guess 48% of your check taken out. Ouch. Dude, so let's get right into it, man. 170 pounds. Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, you know, not like there's any real concrete news, like maybe UFC 295, maybe UFC 296, November, December. I guess from your standpoint, I'm sure you're glad to some extent that maybe it's going to be moving forward. Yes.
I mean, I literally have no idea. Like I talked to my managers and I'm like, bro, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. These guys don't want to fight. We don't know what's happening. And I'm like, let me go out there and put my name out there because I'm getting thrown in the tweets and the mixes of everybody saying the welterweights, they don't want to fight. And I'm like, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight for the belt. Like if I'm a champion, I'm going to defend my belt. I'm going to be on my throne fighting these fighters. I'm not going to be sitting out, not doing anything. Like, would you rather have a guy who fought on 3 weeks notice being your champion or a guy that literally almost got cut from the UFC because he was refusing to fight? Like a guy like Leon Edwards who's sitting out. Now he's a champion. So now he's holding that. And you're thinking back to everything. And I'm like, bro, this guy was literally about to get cut, taken from the rankings because he refused to fight. Now he has a title in his hands and he's refusing to fight and he's not trying to fight. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Time to talk about him.
Yeah. And, you know, for those of us that remember you calling out Strickland for years, I couldn't help but think about that when he wins the title. It's like, all right, bully, go get that belt if you need to. No disrespect, all in. Brendan Allen didn't like that, huh?
Yeah. That's what I said. I'm like, at least middleweight's moving. And even when Adesanya was champion, people were like coming at Adesanya saying, does he deserve the rematch? Or like, why did he deserve the rematch? He just fought and he lost and he came back. And I was like, he doesn't deserve the rematch because of, you know, having the longest reign as a middleweight champion or whatever. I give him the rematch and I would just give him the rematch just because he's an active champion. He's willing to fight the next best guy every single time. He steps up every single time for the UFC. Like he's not a champion that's just sitting there waiting. Look how active he's been. He's been headlining pay-per-views after pay-per-views. And people are like telling him, bro, you're fighting too much. And I know people are mad, like, oh, are we just going to keep giving him rematches every time he loses? Obviously, there's other guys that deserve the title shot, but I'm like, in my mindset, I would be like, I wouldn't be mad at it just because he's an active champion. When I have a champion like Leon Edwards who wants to sit out, doesn't really promote the division, doesn't say anything, there's like nothing in the news about the welterweight. People are forgetting about us because the champion is not doing anything. He's not saying anything. He's not like, at least Usman, all of his fights were basically rematches and, keep fighting the same guys over and over, but at least he was active. And at least, he was out there and he was promoting himself and he was promoting the division. And people are thinking that, oh, this is a go-to division because he's actually in the public eye.
Right.
And I'm like, Leon Edwards, nowhere to be found.
Anyway, I can only talk so much about 170. Let's talk about a bright light in the world, Kayla Harrison. So first I want to say I loved hearing her and Robin Black on the Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA. And I have to tell you, so right before the main event, right? And I guess you can curse or whatever. We probably could have cursed on APFC because it's on YouTube. So right before the main event, Robin Black's like, let's fucking do this. And then Kayla's like, let's fucking go. And I'm like, let's go, But anyways, it was great to see her on the mic. She's won multiple times on our show. She has performed singing on our show, but more importantly, she got a fight now. And she always moves the needle for me. So she's going to fight Julia Budd November 24th. It'll have been almost like a full year since she fought, losing to Larissa Pacheco. I can't wait. She's such a good, genuine human being. I love watching her fight. Frankly, she really moves the needle for me for the PFL. So I'm sure you're excited to hear that announcement too.
Yeah, of course, especially when you have a whole PFL season and, she's nowhere to be found. She's not in it because we're so used to it, right? She's the face of PFL. So the fact that she's back, she's going to be on a pay-per-view. Julia Budd's a bigger name, too, that people recognize. So she goes out there after her first loss and beats Julia Budd, dominates her. It'll show us a lot. And it'll tell us, like, all right, how did she come back from her first loss? She's a real champion. I think that she's going to come back harder. And that time off, I'm hoping that she's worked on the stuff that she needs to work on, her weaknesses. She's growing. She's getting better. And, I think she's going to go out there and make a statement. Because at this point, with PFL talking about buying Bellator, Saudi Arabia in there now, like she has to prove to them in the world that, she's still that person. She's still the face of PFL. And she helped bring them to where they're at, right? They're on ESPN. She was one of the faces that did it. She was one of they revolved it all around her. And I think that a big story for them is to have her go out there and win.
And we've talked a lot about on this show what losses can do to motivate people and to sort of be a switch to sort of flip. So I'm fascinated to see. I guarantee we'll see some improvement. I think she's a killer anyway. So I'm thrilled for her. Moving on, big announcement this week. Merger. The UFC, WWE merged to form TKO group holding. Certainly major news in the UFC. What do you think of this? Like, how does this impact you, if at all?
I mean, hopefully it brings us more fans, right? It brings us more fans from that crowd. And I think the UFC crowd going over there. I used to always be a fan of WWE. I used to watch it all the time. I don't now, only when my boy CM Punk's on AEW or something in Chicago. But we went to a couple live shows here, and that fan base is so like into it, right? They're so emotional with every little thing that happens. And I'm like, man, I wish the UFC fans were like that because they were like, they had the boos, but it'll boo for the heels. But every single thing that was like going on in the ring, they were all involved in it. They were like going crazy. I had like 40-year-old man crying, and I was like, what the heck? Like, that's crazy because they're like real diehard fans. And those are the fans that we really need for like MMA. And I think that bringing them both together, maybe it'll have some swaps, maybe some WWE fighters will come here. So anything that brings more attention to the UFC is a good thing for us, I think.
So you watched it as a kid. I didn't, WWE. Well, maybe a little bit, but so you definitely did. But then, so when you got to the point where you didn't watch it anymore, other than CM Punk, why? Because fake and you're just getting older, you're not that into it anymore?
No, I mean, I used to be like a diehard. Like we would literally, I would buy wrestlers, and my cousin would have like all the best wrestlers, and I would be so jealous of him because he would never open a package. He was like a collector, and I was like pissed off. I'm like, let's play with him, and he would never open them. So like anytime I go visit him, I was just like, oh, let's go sneak in his room when he's not in there, play with the things. But yeah, I think when I got into like sports in high school, that's when I really like fell off of it because bro, we would play ladder matches and jump off the garage into the snow, elbow dropping on my brothers. We would play it all when we were kids. And then when I got to playing basketball and football and stuff like that, I was like, all right, like now I got to start putting my head somewhere else.
Yeah, I like it. Well, nice surprise for me tonight. We got a guy join us. Very great friend of the program. Recently had a fight announced against Marco Madsen in NYC, baby. Can't wait to watch you in NYC, Jared. Love you, brother. Great to see you, Flash. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, brother?
I'm well. What's going on, guys?
What's up, dog?
What's with that weird spotlight like behind you? Just like
I
blind.
just found my kitchen.
There, that's a better view. Then you went to the other one.
It's a mirror. It's a mirror.
Like
You're
go
good.
right in the middle.
Let me go this way, all right?
Dude, so
Hi.
dude, fighting at MSG, I cannot wait to see you fight in MSG. You must be ecstatic. I assume, have you not fought there before?
I have not.
You've never fought in New York, have you?
Never fought in New York.
I mean, he's a Florida guy now, but like he's actually from originally. You said originally from Astoria.
I forget what it's called. Astoria, Queens. Yeah, but bro, Florida is New York because everyone's
100%.
from New York to Florida, so don't give me no nonsense.
No
Anyways,
question about it.
yeah, so I was born in Manhattan. I was raised in Astoria, Queens. My grandfather fought in Madison Square Garden multiple times.
Really? Dude, and I saw you put something out there like, hey, let me know if anyone wants to go. You're going to have a big pop, I think, from that crowd anyway. But hope to get a lot of friends and family there too, huh?
The tickets are astronomically priced. So I'm trying to get a lounge for 42 people, but obviously the upfront cost is pretty substantial. So I'm trying to figure out, like,
Your dad's rich though, isn't he?
he's rich, but it's like, he was like, Jared, he's rich, but he's a Jew, yeah.
Yeah, you could say that because he's a Jew.
He really, yeah, I was a born Jew.
So is Madsen a guy that was on your radar much as a potential matchup?
No, I mean, it does make sense though, because he just fought Grant also. I think that was Grant's last fight, wasn't it? Was that Grant's last fight also?
No, he
think
beat
so.
Islam Agulov.
Oh yeah, it was his last fight, Mark's last fight. So I think stylistically it's a great matchup for me. He's not a freestyle wrestler. Obviously, he's a silver medalist in Greco. I'm sure he can wrestle though, in all forms. But I think my style matches well with his, and I think I've learned a lot in the last year of the ups and the downs. And, I'm just ready to throw down Madison Square Garden. The place should be there to support me. So, and, it's just, I trained at Henzo's, which is like 3 blocks away. For almost 10 years I was there. I would walk by Madison Square Garden, staring up at it. One day I'm going to fight here.
I love it.
I used to shoot heroin in Penn Station.
So I don't need 11.
Underneath Madison Square Garden. So like for me to be there and fighting there and winning there is going to be pretty epic. And I'm not Belal, what are you ranked? 3? What's your ranking?
We go with 1. We go with 1 on this
You know
show.
what I mean, bro.
But yeah.
So, we're the same age, and I'm not fucking ranked. So I got a couple years left, and I've been a late bloomer in everything I've done, puberty as well. And while Belal was wrestling, I was selling cocaine. I was selling rocks on the street.
No, makes sense.
Here I am, and this is like I got to make it count now, man. I got to squeeze it for all the juice, bro. And do what I got to do. So I'm fucking pumped up.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got another guest here.
Oh, we do.
Hey!
Eric Nicksick, ladies and gentlemen, the dude's been on a media tour all this week, but I gotta start here with you, Eric, because so I hadn't seen my brother John in like 2 weeks, and I get to Vegas. And the first thing, give him a hug, happy to see him. The only thing he wants to talk to me about is he's mortified because he just had you on his podcast, which he said for the first time ever, which he couldn't believe. He was just mortified by this bully. And so I don't know if it's the twin thing because Eric's been on our show like 10 times, but this dude is like beside himself. So I just want you to know from someone with the same DNA, he's got so much love for you. And this is like eating him alive, bro. He couldn't believe he hadn't had you on the podcast before.
That's funny because I had to give him some shit for it too. And then I think he really thought like, you know me, bro, I'm just going to roast you a little bit.
Yeah.
And he like texted me after. He's like, God damn it, I didn't know. And I'm so sorry. And I was like, bro, I'm just fucking around.
Exactly. But anyway. Congratulations on an enormous win in Australia, man.
Thank
and
you,
I've seen everything you've done. How are you as a human holding up, man? You don't stop, bro.
Yeah, it's getting a little overwhelming. Like I'm tired of me, like it's the same interview, it's the same this, the same that. But like, you want to try to be gracious and give your time. We have Zell Huber, we have Danny Ige, I have Kai Kamaka. All these guys are fighting. I want to get back in I had Julian Arosa today. I want to get back with Casey O'Neill. I just want to get back to my routine. So it is a privilege because, you get a win and that's the after effect. People want to chat. They want to talk. But at the end of the day, man, it is grueling timing wise. And you just want to be the normal dude that we are, and get back to work and be in the gym.
Yeah. But there's like, when you're a coach to somebody like Strickland and like whenever he talks, it's like stupid comes out of his mouth. Like I'd rather just hear your voice because it makes me like him because you're liking him. Because I'm like, man, Nicksick just needs to do all the interviews from here on out. Whenever Strickland talks, he's just dumb.
And I think that's kind of why it's by design. I think that's a lot of why we're doing this is he's not doing really any media. So I'm trying to help out with a little bit of that situation. But man, I'm really proud of the guy. The flowers are go to him. Styles make the matchups, and we know that. And Strickland is just a very, very tough style to deal with, especially your first time in there with him. So the game planning wasn't like this huge, revelation of what we're going to do to beat Izzy. It was what we do that Sean does really well. Let's execute it on his parameters and give him the right things, the right tools to execute. And he went out and did it, man. And, people are giving me shit saying I told him to wrestle. Wrestling is always part of my game plan. And wrestling is always something that we want to involve just to slow the pace down or to give them something else to worry about. But, I said it mostly because I thought the rounds were very close. And I wanted to try to make sure that we were putting an exclamation point at the end of these rounds. And I specifically said steal and seal rounds just because, man, you just never know in this day and age. And the boys will tell you, man, like what these judges are looking at, you're like, I don't know, but how do we put a stamp on it? And every time I know we put a stamp on it, it's to take a motherfucker down.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. I'm watching his old fight. I rewatched this fight with Cannonier because I want to see how. Dude,
What, did you just hang that today? Like I don't get it.
Duct taped it.
bro, we were
Strickly do have a lot in common.
Just take that up there because I had nothing behind me. I was like, let me tape it. But Cody made me move it because it was an awkward angle.
That was amazing, bro.
Shout out Command Strip, Belal. Remember the name.
But yeah, I was rewatching this fight with Cannonier, and is it kind of like a thing where he didn't have the same respect for Izzy's power because he was just like walking forward on Izzy, but like Cannonier was like different, and even with like Abus came out super hard trying to throw bombs at him, and he was like moving backwards a little bit.
Yeah,
but once he got to the point, I would give it to him. Well, he's best at when he knows he got you hurt or he got you tired or he had you uncomfortable. He pounces on you. But I think like, with the Strickland fight, he was just like standing in front of him and like didn't really. I mean, with the Adesanya fight, he didn't really care about anything Adesanya was throwing at him.
It was nice too because I like being in the underdog role. It just kind of gave you like a, hey, we're supposed to lose, so why don't we just go out and just shock the world and have fun doing it, And really right after we got out of that first round with him dropping him, and that was the first thing I said to him. I was like, he's no boogeyman, huh? Like, let's go, we got this, So I was super excited for him, man. He's a different breed of cat, and he's not everybody's favorite. But he's our guy, and I love him for it, and I couldn't be more proud of him.
Dude,
Let me
go
chime
ahead,
in real
Jared.
quick.
Please.
Dude, first of all, congratulations. I'm so happy for you guys. Man, Sean's grown on me a lot, dude. You know, he's white trash. I'm white trash from Queens, New York. He's a tortured soul.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because I'm a tortured soul. And, I can appreciate where he comes from, and I get it, bro. But, man, he fought a perfect fight.
He did.
In a 1-2. And just no wind up on his punches, couldn't get picked off, was beating Izzy down the middle with everything. That hook, that's like pure. That was like a beautiful boxing moment right there.
Yeah.
Catch him with a right hand down the middle as he's hooking wide.
Yeah.
He made him look like an amateur.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. And dude, to see a guy like him win the middleweight title, like Israel Adesanya is like UFC royalty. And you got a guy like Sean Strickland, who is just a blue-collar guy and just works his ass off and does things simple. And he went in there and got the job done. And he's had tough goes in the UFC, man.
Yeah.
He had ups and downs. You know, he switched weight classes. He found what was right for him. And, you know, some of these guys, they come in and, you know, they've been wrestling in freaking Dagestan since they were in someone's womb. You know, and then you got guys who grew up in boxing gyms or kickboxing gyms, and then you got guys like Sean Strickland who came out of a trailer. And it's amazing to see, and that's what's great about our sport.
Yeah.
And the way you handled yourself, the things that people were saying, you called him a cocksucker. You guys take everything so literally.
Yeah.
It's like the word, I'll probably get some slack for this. It's like the word faggot.
Right.
If you call someone that, it's kind of just like you're a dick, you're a fag, you're an idiot, screw you.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
You weren't actually saying, "Oh, Izzy's a homosexual."
No,
so, like, I thought you handled it perfectly. You told him exactly what he needed to hear, just like you do in every corner. And man, I couldn't go to. There was not many nights when I watch a UFC fights that I've been at in like when I watched Adesanya knock out Pereira, I went to bed that night and I didn't fucking think about that fight again.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watched Strickland win, I was in my bed like this. Stop thinking about it. And I don't do that with many fights at all. If not, but to see him do it, man, and I know Belal and him hate each other, but
actually, Sean will tell you he does not. He likes Belal. It's funny. Sean's like, I like Belal. He hates me.
You guys should just be friends, man.
Like, honestly, if you're just gonna keep like this, I don't know what you're doing, your whole like 10-minute spiel of just like praising him. I'm like, I'm here to praise Eric. Like, honestly, I was like listening in the corner. I was like, man, I want Eric to corner me. Honestly, like, would you corner me if I
both of them?
If I didn't do my camp over there, but like, would you just hop in my corner?
I'm always in your corner, bro. You know that,
my brother. See, like, I'm like
in your corner, man.
You're like so calm in there, like you said, like how you switch it up with every single person, but like you see things perfectly. And
I've experienced this corner.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I cornered Jared when we were in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, and
everything I remember, everything was just exactly what I needed to hear. I mean, I was winning the fight from the beginning, but you know.
There was actually some talking points that I had with Jared in that fight that I just remember, you know, just thinking about what he was going through with the COVID era and everything else. And, you know, he was winning the fight, but in round 3, I do remember like having a good talk with him and trying to motivate him to go out in there and dominate that round or look to go get that finish, you know, and it was nice, man. It's always going to be a cool moment for me to have with me, Felder, and Jared was that time out there.
Yeah. Awesome.
If you're looking at what's next, if you're Sean Strickland, who would you rather have? Because I'm telling people, I think if the rematch happens soon, I think Sean's just a bad matchup for him. But you have Pananera out there, you have Driscus out there, you have the winner of Kamza Costa. Like, who would you want to see him fight?
I don't really care, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think you can make an argument for all of them. They're all deserving. And that's the honest to God truth, bro. You know me, man. You slide a name across the table and you tell me that's what we got to go do, I'm going to go do it. If I had my choice, I mean, you know, I think Jared's deserving of it because he beat us. You know, Israel's deserving of it because this guy's been ultimately the GOAT in the middleweight division for however long. Driscus is a guy that deserves it because, you know, he was right there at the, you know, and the guy we haven't fought yet. So, you can make an argument for all of them. And at the end of the day, man, it's what the UFC says, and we're ready to go. We came out of this fight pretty much uninjured. So if they want to get it in before the end of the year, let's do one.
Yeah, Belal, they'll probably announce a middleweight fight before the welterweight fight. The next champion. Joke.
God damn, Belal.
What do you think is happening with the welterweight division?
Dude. Oh my God.
Strange.
Question: do you think Kobe's getting the title shot because he's white?
I don't know. I don't know that. I do. I'll tell you this, bro. You know what I like really pisses me off though, because I'm saying this because you're my boy, but I don't understand like the hate you get when we're on, like we go out to the crowd or whatever. I'm like, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. It bugs the shit out of me. Like me and Megan Levy were talking about that one day, and I was like, dude, like nicest guy in the world. You literally are. You're like the nicest guy in the world. You fight hard, you fight great. You're just a fan favorite, and I hate that shit, man. It bugs me. It's funny. I'm just seeing how fickle these fans are nowadays. You see it all. It's trash.
I appreciate you, my brother. Seriously, that means a lot coming from you.
No, dude. I mean, I see it.
What was I gonna say? With the Cannonier fight, did you think that was a robbery? Obviously, you from a different mindset, like going back at it. Do you like look at it as a robbery? Or do you think Sean should have did this more?
Sean should have done more. I knew it was a close fight. I mean, yeah, you can make an argument, but I think robbery gets thrown around a little too much, a little too loosely. But I thought there was, I say we left crumbs behind. That was kind of what I said. I said, man, there was little things I think we could have done better. And you guys heard me echo that in this fight. I kept saying optics, and Sean knew what I meant by optics. And I wanted to make sure that we were putting a stamp on these rounds and making sure there was no, wayward scorecard. And that's due to our history with the Cannonier fight. It's like, hey, bro, let's make sure we're solidifying these optics here and do what we need to do to make sure we're winning these rounds.
Dude, so Bully, I don't know if we're doing a game show, but Eric, so you got Ige coming up, and then when you go to Saudi Arabia, that's the 28th of October. That's creeping.
Yeah, so I got Zell Huber this weekend. He'll be on the T-Mobile card. Ige on the 23rd. San Diego for Kai Kamaka for Bellator. And then the plan is to head out there right after Kai Kamaka. So, and I just was with the boys yesterday. Francis, the guys he sparred, they're actually maybe looking to push it back a little. They were going to go out October 1st. Now I'm hearing October 7th or 8th, which is good. It's that same timeline, and gets us out there for about 3 weeks till fight time. Anybody on the October UFC card on the 21st? Nobody. I don't have anybody in Abu Dhabi. I know Javid and Farad are trying to be on that card. I don't corner those guys. They're my teammates. So I just said, hey, if we're out there, because me and Dewey will be in Saudi Arabia. I was like, you guys come out to Saudi, train with us, or help, come work with us, and we'll help you guys out. Cool.
I'll go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, Jared's a really good boxer. If Francis needs sparring partner. We need him. We've been running out of sparring partners. Trust me, Francis.
I look the part.
Yes.
Isn't it adjustment for him though to like transfer from MMA to like boxing? Because I know he was like in the mindset of I need to learn wrestling, do this, do that. Now it's just like straight boxing. So is it like a bigger adjustment for him? I think in the beginning he thought it was going to be a little easier, and then as he was going, it's like, oh, this is a lot of footwork, a lot of movement, a lot of bounce, a lot of rhythm, a lot of this, a lot of that. And so I say very different. Not like it was like harder or anything like that, but just very different. And I remember I haven't seen him for like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. And yesterday I went down and watched sparring. Man, like night and day. Like he looked freaking good. I was like, holy shit. I was telling Dewey and the boys, I'm like, fuck, he looks great.
Have you worked with Mike and Francis like a lot now?
No, I mean the Mike thing was kind of like I would say a publicity stunt, but like he came in, did some stuff, photo stuff, coached that day, and then I don't know how much he's going to be involved or is involved, but dude, what a cool experience, right? Like freaking Mike Tyson, right? he's intense as all can be, and we had a hard session that day at Bones Adams, and Mike was running the show, and just kind of running some route combinations that Francis and I are accustomed to, and then Mike will say like, hey, try this one or add this one in or do this. And so I was just holding pads kind of under what Mike wanted. And then, dude, we did a hard bag workout, hard cardio, medicine ball throws, and all this other crap. And I was like, dude, this guy's intense, man. It was cool. We kind of needed it, to be honest with you. It was nice.
Last question for me. I mean, if it does end up being made somehow and they do book me against Sean Strickland for the middleweight title, would you like corner against me or no?
100%.
Bro,
you knew the answer.
100%, right?
Bro, Seriously? Like when you would sit there and game plan against me, you're like, dang, I got to do this right now.
As much as I love you, I would have to do it, buddy. As much as I love you.
Well, he's not in your corner yet, right? I mean, not like Eric's cornered you yet.
I'll give you a tip of the hat. I'll give you a tip of the hat. Tell you I love you.
That's about it.
Give you a big hug after, but
yeah. But I mean, like it's odd though, because like Jared's best friend is Gilbert Burns. My last fight, and I beat him. So, like, was it awkward for you, Gilbert? I mean, Jared.
You made it awkward for sure.
yeah.
You made it awkward, but not really. No.
How about our boy Paulie Felder getting back?
Oh, that's what I asked you too.
Oh, Paul.
What, did they announce a fight or something?
No.
Has he been talking to you? He's been messaging.
Oh yeah. I got it all. I got the whole thing laid out for him and gave him some notes on what we want to do and how we want to approach it, and talking to Butler about whatever, So
if he does end up getting back in there, I'm coming to whip his ass.
Yeah. Oh, that works. That'll work. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just love Paul. We all do. That's a boy. So whatever makes him happy and whatever he needs. And even if it's just like, hey man, I'm coming back to train at a bigger capacity, he's an asset for everybody in the room. I don't even care if he becomes as a training partner. He's such an asset.
I was telling him, I was like, bro, you didn't like retire because you were like getting beat up or you were broken or anything like that. You retired for, I don't know, your own weird reason. What? Because you lost a split decision to Hooker. But I'm like, bro, before that, you're on a big streak. You're right there in the hunt, and it's like you weren't getting beat up. Even in the practice room, you were getting beat up. Like you're still good.
Yeah, he lost the RDA on 4 days' notice by split decision, right? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. I mean, we're being honest. He really didn't win around, but like, I mean,
but Chris Lee.
Well, who would you want to see him fight?
I said Tony Ferguson.
Dude, that's what I said.
Perfect.
Yeah. I said
Jim Miller's a good one too.
Jim Miller's a very good one. That one too. That was the other one that was getting kicked around. So, either one of these OGs, man. I think it'd make for a fun fight and a good fight for Paul. And all in all, man, like I'm with you guys. I think Paul still has it. Every time I work with the guy or hold pads for him, he always asks, like, do you still feel that I have it, the timing, the rhythm? I'm like, yes, Paul, you got it, bro. Whatever it is, you got it. You got it.
So like before all those fights, like 1 a.m., I'll get a message. Hey, man, think I can really beat him? I'm like, dude. What are you talking about? It's 1 a.m. Go to sleep, man. We got to train tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, like over the years, and I only got to corner Paul once, but I worked with him a whole bunch, if there's a guy that you can like you wish you were with for his entire career, it's Paul. I think just because of his professionalism alone, the way he takes care of the people around him, his energy, he has this fire about him that like you just want to ride with, bro. Like I always say this as a coach, I have get tos and got tos. I get to coach a guy like Paul Felder, and then you have the got tos. I got to coach this person, and you want to
the got tos?
Huh?
Can you name some got tos?
The got tos are usually like sometimes you have private lessons or things like what I mean. It's just you have to do because you have to make ends meet. It's not necessarily fighters. Where I'm at now, all of my fighters that I have are get tos. I get to be in that. But when you're grinding and getting up the ranks, your got tos are guys. You're like, oh, I gotta coach this guy because I need to make a couple extra bucks. But I always looked at it like this. It was reps. I was getting reps in the cage or as coaching or breaking down tape. And without those reps, I don't think I'm the coach I am today. So all that stuff was important to me at some point in my career.
And Eric, just before you get out of here, I just have to say, anyone who saw the interview you did with Jimmy Smith, I've always been very interested in your relationship with Sean Strickland, just because to me, you're one of the most genuine, nicest human beings I've ever met. And obviously the optics on Sean maybe are not the same. And when I watched that interview with Jimmy Smith, to hear you talk about how you've helped him as a human being and knowing that a lot of these fighters from different backgrounds, many of them might need that type of help more than the coaching. And so just mad love for you. That was very powerful. And I loved it, man.
No, I appreciate you, bro. And these guys know, and anybody that's really stepped foot in a gym, they understand it's like, I don't care where you're from, what your social background is, what's your religion, race, creed. I think that was brought up in football for me is my dad being a coach and me playing team sports is whatever, if you're wearing that jersey, you're my brother, you're my sister, whatever it may be. And I'm going to go to battle for you. And there are things I have to put my foot down in the gym per se. But, you know, and when it comes to Sean, yeah, he does say outlandish things and things that are off-putting. But he's also not a person I think you discard because of his history. And I think just with a little TLC and some understanding over the years, I feel like he's becoming a better human being. And, you know, having that girlfriend has helped him immensely. And, man, I mean, the Saturday's win was just for the blue-collar average Joes. I think he proved to a lot of the world that, you know, no matter where you're at or what you are or who you are or whatever, you have the ability to shine and be a champion.
Dude, well, you're the man. Good luck with everything over the next 6 weeks, and I hope you get a little breather because I know you got a wonderful family that needs you too.
Yeah, I know. So. I got Avery's got football in about 30 minutes, so my daughter's out there tearing it up, flag football.
No way, really?
Yeah, she's a killer, bro. It's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch.
I love it.
She's a receiver. Yeah, she can fly, bro. Catches the ball. She's legit. So it's like the highlight of my week.
Are you going to the Super Bowl or no? Could you get us out to the field?
Yes, I'm going to the Super Bowl.
Are you?
No, I don't know. I don't know if it hopefully, because, you know, it being at Allegiant this year, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to sneak ourselves in. I'll probably jump on that Francis Ngannou coattail on that one.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, you got another champion with you now, so.
Yeah. You know, the day when I can get you guys to actually shake hands and hug will be my crowning achievement as a coach.
What a guy.
Crowning achievement as a coach. You know, I told him that too. I said, you listen, you're missing out on the rest of the team's missing out on a great training partner when Belal's in town, because he would be in here training with the rest of the team, Chris Curtis and the rest of the boys, if you guys can bury whatever hatchet you guys have. But he would be an asset to the team if this was something that we got along. And he's like, no, I love Belal. And I'm like, God damn it.
I love you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Love you too, man.
You're the best, man.
Love you guys. I'll talk to you. Hey, Jared, good luck in that fight.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Yes, brother. I'll talk to you. See ya.
Good stuff out of Eric. Jared, you want to stick around for a little bit more to pick a few fights for this weekend's card? Noche UFC, you down?
No.
And we can talk about like your freaking
I'm down.
John Strickland's nuts. Like,
Oh my God.
Belal loved that. He loved
I
that.
was on his nuts as a fight fan.
I stayed awake thinking about Sean Strickland. That's you stayed awake thinking about Sean Strickland.
A win. I'm not thinking about Sean Strickland.
Let's get the bullies picks. That's great.
Go, come on.
Noche UFC, Grasso versus Shevchenko 2, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Odds as always via DraftKings Sportsbook. So, Belal, this first fight in the bantamweight division is like not close on paper, but I had to ask you about it. So Raul Rosas Jr., and I'm glad Jared is here because both of you were so adamant that he was going to lose to Christian Rodriguez last time out. We were together wherever we were, Miami, I think, and you guys were both like, this dude, Christian Rodriguez is a killer, and he was a pretty significant underdog, I think more than 2-1. But this kid's still only 18 years old. Raul Rosas, 7-1 as a pro. You know, this guy, Terrence Mitchell, who he gets, certainly not quite the guy that Christian Rodriguez is, unless I'm mistaken. You know, one fight in the UFC, spent most of his career in Alaska. But to me, minus 750 for Raul Rosas Jr. when he lost his last fight. Plus 525 for Terrence Mitchell. Belal, does this line look a little off? I mean, I don't know.
Like I think now the UFC is doing the right thing of building him up the right way, giving him the right opponent. I think being so young, you know, he came in with a lot of hype on that Contender Series, got his first finish in the UFC. Then you give him a guy like Christian. I think the UFC just underestimated how good Christian is. Christian is a beast. Christian, I think, literally could be a champion. And I think Raul just ran into the wrong spot. But I think it's also going to help him too. You learn a lot from a loss. And a guy like him who's just walking through everybody, you're not going to be able to just pick everybody up, slam them, take their back, and choke them out. Like there's going to be good guys out there that defend your takedowns. And I'm going through that now with like kind of like the younger guys at my gym. You know, they're amateurs, undefeated, and they're just beating everybody up. And then they're doing the same lazy things at practice. And I'm like, bro, you're going to go against somebody good, somebody that defends that takedown. Then what are you going to do? That's when the toughness comes out of you. And we saw in that fight, he was tough. He had a lot of heart. He didn't have no give up in him. So he pushed through with it. But I think now he's going to come in with a different mindset. Hopefully he worked on the stuff that he needs to work on, his striking. His cardio was pretty bad that fight. And I hope he has better corners because I know he had his mom, his dad, and you want to have real coaches in your corners if you're gonna, for your UFC fights. Yeah, he had his mom and dad. Yeah, so I'm like, get yourself some real coaches. But I'm picking Raul here. I like Roses here. It's just the right matchup for him for a younger guy.
Yeah. Flash, you give Terrence Mitchell any shot here?
I mean, he's 14-3, so he's got more than double the fights, and he's 33 years old, so he is a man.
Yep.
He did lose to Cameron Saman, or however.
Yep.
Simon, who's a stud, also who is now fighting Christian in his next fight.
Right.
But I think the build-up for a fight like this, this night was tailor-made for the Mexican crowd and the Mexican fighters. And you got a guy like Terrence Mitchell who's got one UFC loss in his whole UFC career. So that's a lot of pressure, man. You got to fight this kid who is a kind of like a prodigy. He did lose to a really good kid in Christian Rodriguez. But does Terrence Mitchell know how good Christian is? Is he underestimate? And Raul can grapple. I'm going with Raul on the build up, fight night. The kid's been in there more, in the UFC cage more. But Terrence Mitchell doesn't look like a pushover. So
yeah, good stuff. All right, co-main event much closer on paper. I can't wait for this one, man. Like anytime there's a welterweight fight, Bully, it obviously piques my interest. Down at the bottom of the rankings, though, not really your cup of tea these days. But so your big brother Hoos loves Kevin Holland here as a slight underdog. I don't know, at least a week ago he liked him. So Kevin Holland, just like he's fought everyone. One is, he's fought twice in 2023, won both. Santiago Ponzinibbio, Michael Chiesa choked him out. That was round one. That was UFC Salt Lake City, 6 weeks ago, end of July. He just fights all the time. Jack Della Maddalena, 3-name Jack, was all the hype, and then he beats Basil Hafi's split decision in July, and people were sort of not that impressed. I just think this is fascinating. So on the Anik and Florian podcast, Kenny Florian loves Holland. Brian Petrie loves Jack Della Maddalena. Jared, start us out. Who's your pick in the co-main event?
I mean, this is going to be a stand-up fight. Kevin Holland's not shooting doubles. So he's long. He's got snap on his punches. But Jack can box his ass off. But we did see him struggle with a grappler, though. Basil Hafiz is a heavy, heavy grappler. I've known him since the CFFC days, since I was in the regional scene. Really good grappler. But he did come out and bang. And the fight was very exciting, and he made Jack look not as good as we thought he was in his previous fights. Could have had an off night, though, Jack. Man, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Jack. I think on the inside, he's too sharp. And I don't see Kevin looking to grapple as much as he probably should. So, I'm going Jack. Slight edge, though.
Yeah. So, Belal, Jack was supposed to fight July 8th, was going to fight Sean Brady originally. Then he gets another opponent, but then he waits out in Vegas for another week, still sort of staying on weight or whatever he's doing. So, hope maybe that had some impact on his performance July 15th. I can't wait to see which direction you're going, Bully.
Yeah, I mean, people could say that, right? You could say, he waited out there. Maybe that played a part on his performance, but a lot of the stuff in that performance was like just dumb moves. Like he was jumping guillotine, and like it was just like bad defense. There was bad structure in his wrestling game. His grappling game was off, and I was like, you don't have to be like thrown off or jet lag to know not to jump guillotine on a guy that all he wants to do is take you down. And I think that's where he went wrong. The brawling part, the getting caught on the feet a little bit with wild punches, that's where I could, all right, maybe it was just off night. But just like that other stuff, I can't get past that fight at IQ. Holland, I mean, obviously doesn't have the best IQ either with, dropping Wonder Boy and not jumping on top of him. He's a black belt. Didn't want to do any grappling with him, played that game. But I just think, I don't know, I think Holland, his wild striking, it's unorthodox. And for a guy like Jack, who's very structured with his tight hands, staying close to his body, I think Holland just comes out with too much wild stuff. And the wild stuff is what catches those guys who are really very static with their defense. I think Holland could end up catching him here because, Jack fought somebody like long and like Randy Brown before that. But Randy Brown got a little bit too wild and dropping his hands and got pretty with that. Holland doesn't really get pretty. He gets wild, but it's not like that Adesanya, let me drop my hands with my head like that. He's coming at you with a spinning back fist or a back fist punch at you or jumping what it was, the other thing they keep showing is like jumping random hammer fists, like those weird stuff. And I think one of those weird punches is going to end up catching Jack and finishing him.
Yeah, not surprised to see you guys on separate sides. We move to the main event, Women's Flyweight Championship. Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, do it again. You know, a lot of talk about Shevchenko typically being, whether it's minus 600 up to minus 1,000. I think she was minus 1,200 for the first matchup, which blows my mind. So at minus 170, I think that's juicy, or minus 175. I saw it 170 today. That's juicy for a lot of people on Shevchenko here. So Grasso realizes UFC gold with the face crank ground force submission. Teddy Atlas, I believe, is the one who said champions get 20 to 30% better. I think she may need to beat Valentina twice. Can you imagine anyone being hungrier to sort of avenge a loss than Valentina Shevchenko after winning 9 in a row, losing to Grasso here? It's hard for me to envision Grasso getting her twice, but Leon Edwards got Kamaru Usman twice. So anyway, Muhammad, get us going on the main event, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like Grasso here. She's been getting better every single fight. She's been growing every single fight. And for me, Shevchenko, her last couple fights, even with the Talia Santos fight, like that was a very close split decision that could have went either way. It's like maybe the people are figuring out her game because she's been at the top for so long. And when you're at the top and you're the champion, everybody's studying you. That's your goal. Everybody's just paying attention to you and what you're good at and how you do it. And I think that's where Grasso was, even coming into that fight. She was hungry and, showing that little sequence of her showing the spinning back fit, the back kick in the back room, and then her planning for that tells me that they study her a lot and they know what Valentina's game is. For Valentina, she could come in there saying that, it was a lucky choke. She caught me bad. I won't make the same mistake twice. I think that's the type of confidence that's going to get her caught again, because I think she's underestimating Grasso again. I think she just thought she had a little slipped on a banana peel and Grasso won. But I think Grasso knows Grasso's mindset still tells me that she's still trying to get better. She's still trying to grow. And if she did get 30% better, I think I'm going to go with Grasso here. And not really a finish. I'm going with the decision here.
I like it. Jared, you going with the underdog as well, or you think Valentina gets her belt back?
I'm going Grasso.
I like it. Nice and simple.
You just copy everything I said? Is that what you're going to?
Yeah, I'm copying you.
Okay.
No, I think she's still going to be hungrier than, Valentina. Winning 9 straight and then the pressure of having to come back from a finish loss. Now you're in front of this crowd who is built for, like I said, that fan base is just going to be all for Grasso. And I think she's going to shine, dude. I think she's going to shine, and I think she has more tools. I think her striking is underrated too, and I'm sure she's only gotten better. She must be so pumped. I just beat Valentina Shevchenko. She was probably in the gym the next day. I'm in the gym.
And I can't be too much pressure. Not a lot of pressure here on Grasso either, right? I mean,
you don't think so?
Well, Mexican Independence Day, I think the show's right.
There's pressure, dude. I think there's definitely.
But when you win a belt against Valentina Shevchenko, one of the greatest of all time, it's like to some extent it's house money.
I think there's more pressure on Valentina,
right.
But I think that the kind of pressure that Grasso will be facing, I think, will serve her.
I like it.
Pressure for people supporting her, but that is going to, these Mexican fighters, man. That's how they win. That's how they're built, to fight the crowd. They love that. So I think it's just going to fuel her fire.
Just like the fans at MSG are going to do with you in New York in November.
That's right.
Bully B, anything else before we get out of here?
No, nothing else from me. Thank you for coming on, Jared. I appreciate you. Don't be a stranger, dude. Like, come on the show, talk with us.
Get up to Chicago. Get on the mats a little bit.
Don't make me bring up how this show has stabbed me in the back multiple times.
Please, I want to hear it.
I'm owed a gold chain, a rug. I did finally get my Jordans, only because he's the man.
Yeah, shout out to English Soul. They gave him a pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
I still got
my Jordans, and he sent me a pair of SB4s. Fire. I don't even want to wear them. They're so nice,
dude.
But
all right, yeah, we may argue something. You got Billy a nice pair of yours
more than anything.
Yeah.
So, but no, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and it's only getting better for you guys, I think.
Well, we're really excited for you, man, and a lot of shit went down in some of your last fights. It's a lot of bullshit, if you ask me. So I'm excited to see you get back in the win
You
column.
guys should be there in attendance, I think. So,
We will, 100%.
cool. Awesome.
Anyway, Flash Gordon, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you, brother. That should do it for tonight. And remember the show. Just for those of you who like football, my twin brother John Anik and I are doing our second season of Anik Squared. Episode 2 should be airing tonight on the DraftKings YouTube channel.
How did the picks
Cody
go?
Merrow, what's up?
How did they go the first week?
Nothing special. 2 and 3, both of us. 2 and 3. We did 2 and 3 in the super contest, so nothing special. You're not too happy with my fantasy football advice I gave you, didn't I tell you to draft Brandon Ayuk?
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that wasn't me though. Oh, maybe it was.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna be good. You said it. You told me Aaron Rodgers was gonna be good.
Well, I thought he would have been great if the Achilles. Dude, how about the Jets? So that roster is stacked. Like, if he was,
I was so heartbroken, but I was hyped that team is good. It ended up being a really good game, but I was like, you want to cry because I was down by 8 points against Big Hoots, against my brother. I was down by 8 points. I had Aaron Rodgers going that day, and I was like,
no way.
I had Aaron Rodgers. I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy. I'm walking through, and then that happens, and I'm like I want to complain, but I'm like, wait, Aaron Rodgers is literally out for the season. It's like, how does he feel right now with a torn Achilles? Like,
it's just
people are saying it's the turf, it's the grass. I don't know.
So it's really interesting, right? And some of that turf, I've played golf my whole life, and some of that turf is sort of similar to some like fake golf turf where it's almost this rubberized thing underneath. I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor. The one thing I'll say that my brother said was he felt adamant that Aaron Rodgers wasn't moving that great in the 4 snaps he saw, right? Who knows? I mean, but, just because Tom Brady did it at 45 and kept doing it doesn't necessarily mean it's not a real thing for everybody getting older. It just is, man. I'm 45. I got all sorts of banged up shit, So anyway, that'll do it for Remember the Show this week. We'll see you next Thursday night. Cody Merrow, we appreciate you as always. For my boy Belal, remember the name Muhammad. My name is Jason Anik. We will see you next week. We appreciate you joining us. Have a good night.